So hello there, my name's Dane Lemaitre, welcome to the review. And in this review I'm going to be reviewing D261. Now if you look under the playlist on my channel, and obviously if you watch my videos regularly, you'll probably see that I've already done a review on this diesel. However, it wasn't on his own, I did it along with D7101. And at the time when I was reviewing them, I thought to myself that it'd be nice to do it side by side, because I wasn't too sure there'd be much to say about the models. However, as I've sort of gone on to sort of making my YouTube videos, I've sort of realised that, for me personally, it doesn't matter how long my videos are, length, minutes wise. At the end of the day, I used to do a college course, and when I did that course, we had deadlines, and we had to also make adverts and short films and things like that, and they had to be up to 15 minutes, 20 minutes long. So we had restraints. So obviously, how many minutes we were allowed to do. Obviously, this being my own channel, I can do videos for as long as I want to. They're all sort of different lengths, and obviously the good thing is if you're not logged in YouTube now, if you watch a long video, whether it's mine or someone else's, you can always carry on watching it again from where you left off. So I decided to do this one, as it is one of my favourite models. So this is D261. He's known as D261 because his number, as you can see on the side, just there. However, he's also known as Class 40 because in the TV series he is a Class 40 model. However, here they've actually used a Class 37, and the difference is obviously the amount of wheels and also the buffer beam. If you look at the red buffer beam, so the buffer beam being the red bit, in the TV series it comes down to the ground, and it's the same in most of the magazine stories as well. However, here it's not gone right the way to the ground. Like I said, that's mainly because they've used a Class 37. But like I said, I do think it's a really nice model. And as you know, not all of the Hornby models have been that accurate. Obviously, take Emily for example. Her model doesn't look anything like she does it in the TV series. Obviously, that was when the show was made using models. And obviously now that the show's in CGI, Emily looks a lot different, a lot more detailed, and has a number as well. And that, so yeah, this wasn't completely accurate. And another thing as well is, I've always said to myself that with a lot of the ranges, like the Ertl diecast range and the take-along range, they make literally every single character that was in Thomas, regardless of how long it had been the show for. So if it was a brand new character, even if it only appeared in one episode, they'd still go and make it. Whereas Hornby, when they were making them, because Hornby don't make the Thomas range anymore, they discontinued it now, but when they did, there wasn't a huge variety of characters, and towards the end there wasn't that many characters at all in the range, whereas every other range you could always guarantee you could find literally every single character. And again, I know a lot of people say that Hit Entertainment produced a lot of new characters that were pointless. However, I actually liked Dennis the Diesel Engine, and I wished that he could appear again. And another one I really liked was Colin the Crane. Colin was introduced in Series 12. Also in Series 12, Hank, the big American engine, was introduced, and so was Flora. I didn't really like them, so the fact they only appeared once, for me was quite good. But like I said, Colin was one I would like to have seen more of in a way, really. But again, the show sort of surprises us all the time with characters. Well, it was surprising with characters come back. I mean, I'm not too sure about the newer series now. I don't think any old characters are going to come back. But then again, I could be wrong. We never know, really. And as I was saying earlier, obviously with the Batman range, they do the narrow gauge engines. And again, there's other engines, narrow gauge engines that I would love to see them produce. Like Mighty Mac, for example, which is like two engines in one. One end called Mighty, one end called Mac. Millie as well, the narrow gauge engine, and also Luke. I'd love it if Mac can produce them, but we'll just have to wait and see. But no, I am quite fond of narrow gauge engines, as you've probably seen in some of my other videos. And so I'm sort of surprised with Hornby they released this one, because in my opinion, he's not a very, very popular character. He only appeared in 2 episodes of the TV series, so the episode Bowled Out, and before that he was a cameo in the episode Rusty to the Rescue. And as you can see, this arrow that I've added It's pointing to him in the background of the episode Rusty to the Rescue. You can just about see him. He was also in the Railway series first. In the Railway series, he had a different number and he looked a lot more different. But for the Railway series, that was sort of normal. But like I said, although this model isn't entirely accurate to what he looks like in the TV series, Railway series, I do still think it's really, really good. To look at that, I could still say, they've got all the details on the side, like the grills and things like that. The stripe. And there's a look at the back there. So yeah, all the details are still there. It's just that they say they've used a Class 37. And I do like Class 37s. I've actually got two of the same one, as you can see here. One of them came in my £5 bargain train set you probably saw last month that I reviewed. And again, when I was doing my reviews, really, I've always been more, I suppose I've had more of an interest in steam engines. I think they're great things. I like engines of all sorts of gauges and that. And what I like about steam engines is, I say, watching the pistons and that go around as they move along. So like I said, I do really like steam engines, but I do like the old diesels as well. I think the old diesels, compared to the newer ones, have a lot more sort of character and that about them. In the way they look and that and style, and they do look really nice. And I would actually like to go on a Class 40 if I could, but I think there's a few preserved ones, so just have to keep a lookout really. Never say never really. I'll probably get a chance one day, I imagine. Hard to say, but yeah, like I said, he was known as Class 40 because obviously he's Class 40 and D261, and he's also been known as Bowler because of his accident, because he sucked a bowler hat, into his air intake and broke down, as you probably know. And like I said, he hasn't appeared much really, but he has been in the magazine stories as well. So he hasn't ever really been forgotten really. And also, when I first got this model, as you can see here in this bit of footage, he had black buffers. However, I've actually gone and painted them silver. My brother helped me as well because I wasn't too sure how to paint them. And there's a little bit of scratch now. Well, you can see a little bit of scratch there where I've been putting them in and out of the box, but probably just touch it up another time. And I suppose the reason I did paint it pop silver colours because, again, in the TV series when he first appeared, his buffers were silver. And the same with my Hornby Stepney model, I painted them silver as well because, again, I just thought they looked a bit more accurate to what Stepney looked like in the TV series. Again, them two are both models I really, really like. Stepney I can understand Hornby making because, in my opinion, up until sort of recently, so the last few years, Stepney was a really popular character, literally appearing all the time, never really forgotten. And also, I'm glad that Hornby have made this because nowadays, if you do watch the show, there seems to be more diesel shunters than anything. I've got nothing against diesel shunters. Obviously, there was diesel shunters in the Railway series, but there's also a lot of big diesels as well. So obviously, like this one, so diesels that were a lot longer, and I really wish in the show now that there was engines that were big like this. The only ones now that really appear are Daisy and Diesel 10 occasionally. They're big. And also, when I went to Leighton Buzzard Railway the other day, as you can see in this photo here, I saw a new character. I don't even watch the show now, so I don't know how new this character is, but there was a long diesel called Noorjahan. She was quite big. But like I said, the show just seems to consist of diesel shunters now. And Daisy's actually supposed to be coming out into the Bachmann range next year. Again, earlier, obviously, I was saying things like, Hornby didn't release that many characters, and however, Bachmann obviously do a lot of the characters now. And they're doing a lot more now, so like the narrow gauge engines appear, and I never thought I'd live to see the day where they actually do the narrow gauge engines, because I've always really liked the narrow gauge engines, and when I was younger, my two favourite stories were probably Special Funnel and Steamroller, and I really wanted Hornby to make the narrow gauge engines, because obviously back then all we really had was Hornby, whereas now there's a lot more ranges, and it seems to be Bachmann that are doing everything now. And again, when I was younger, Series 4, I remember it being brand new and seeing characters like this, and so say Stepney and Caroline the Car, ones like that. They're characters that I really like for that reason, really. So if you have a look, I've got it in the box, and as you can see, I've got it from Jay's Chemist in Elsbarton. And Jay's Chemist is a shop, and it's got a toy museum there. I mean, I've not been there recently because of the pandemic, but obviously when it's safe and that, and obviously if you're in the area, I recommend you go there and have a look. I don't know what they have in the Thomas Hornby range and that now, but they had quite a lot when I went there. And when I got this in 2012, so I've had it now for about 8 years. And I also got Hornby Henry as well. That was in the box as well. And I was talking to someone the other day saying that with a lot of Hornby products and things like that, the prices are quite expensive. And I mean, recently as well, when I went to Leighton Buzzard, saw some O gauge ones and I saw a engine like Stepney in the window, and they're quite expensive. And we were saying the Thomas range, even for obviously considering they're aimed at the younger market, some of them could be quite expensive. And there was this thing that I saw a few years ago, which I found for you on the Roll Along Thomas blog, as you can see here, saying if they were to produce characters like Neville, for example, then they would be a lot more expensive. And I suppose in some ways that's why maybe characters like Arthur didn't appear in the Hornby range, maybe even Daisy. And it's probably as well why Spencer was only out for a limited sort of time. But like I said, I do really like this model, and as you can see, obviously I painted the buffers. And when he appeared in the magazine stories, his buffers, so like the red bit of the buffer beam I was saying earlier, didn't always come to the ground. And his buffers were also painted black in some of them, or most of the magazine stories. And again, the same sort of happened to characters like Spencer, whose buffers are actually silver. But again, when he appeared in the magazine stories, for some reason they were black. So again, that's a good thing about modelling, sort of thing. You can, paint things and make them look more realistic, and you can weather your locomotives. I mean, I don't like to weather the locomotives, and certainly wouldn't want to weather the Thomas ones, because a lot of the Thomas engines aren't actually that weathered in the TV series, and that's how I sort of want to keep them. But yeah, if I had to give this model a score, I'd happily give it a 9 out of 10. Because like I said, it's not all there, but it's still a really good model. I definitely recommend you get it if you can. And again, going back to prices, so things were quite expensive, but they're cheap. I got this relatively cheap. I mean, on eBay, these are a lot more money now. So I count myself quite lucky to have managed to have got one, really. And he does really run really nicely indeed. This is down at Wellingborough Museum, where I volunteer sometimes. They've got a railway layout and I run my trains there. Hopefully going to go there again when the pandemic's over, because what's happening with COVID-19, the museum's closed because a lot of volunteers in their 70s and that, so the group more at risk, so they have to be a lot more careful, which I totally understand. Better safe than sorry. But yeah, he does run really nicely. Another thing I'd like to show you as well, obviously you probably saw in my last sort of review that I've done. I've produced a few more videos since then, but my last actual review that I've done on the red and blue trucks, I've actually bought myself a couple of more blue trucks, and I got these from Rails of Sheffield for a good price. Again, that's quite a nice model shop. And like I said, with the buffers and that, my brother helped me paint them. He used to work in TNR Models, which is our model shop in Wellingborough. And unfortunately that's closed down now, the owner's retired. But, you know, in my opinion, that was a great model shop. You know, and I always like looking around model shops. And again, you know, another model shop that I went to was one at Poole in Dorset. Also in Dorset's the Swanage Railway. Anyway, the one that I went to at Poole in Dorset, when I went inside, I found a few models that I'd bought previously in the Thomas range. There was other things there as well. And some of them were actually cheaper than what I'd brought them online for. So sometimes I think it's worth, you know, helping your local family businesses if you can, particularly if you get price reductions like that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I do appreciate it. You know, I do put a lot of time and effort into editing my videos and still work full time as well. You know, and I've had to work through the pandemic as well, as I'm a key worker, as I'm sure a lot of other people have. But I still find time to edit videos and that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. And next time I'm going to be doing a review on D7101 by himself. You know, a model that I really like. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and goodbye.